So let's just settle into our meditation posture and check your just check how you're feeling. I've started doing this a couple of days ago. And just try and land, but notice how you're showing up this evening. You know, are you happy or sad or a little bit frustrated? No judgment, just notice. Then check your feet if they're down on the ground. Have your legs in a parallel position and your sits bones slightly raised. Let's just settle back into our meditation posture. So we've gone through the feet. If they're down, have them in a parallel position. If your legs in the regular cross-legged position, you can support them with a cushion. Sits bones are raised, maybe 2 to 4 inches. And if your back is, if you have a surface behind you of any kind, try not to lean into it. Unless you're sort of not very well or super tired or in pain. Right hand is nestled in the left with the thumbs touching. Shoulders are aligned with the hips. And let's just imagine our spines are a string of pearls of light, stretching from the base all the way up through the crown of the head. And imagine your spine is lengthening. Put some space in between those vertebrae. As much as you can, shoulders aligned with the hips, and of course the ears, if you can sort of lengthen your neck and then glide your head slightly backwards so it's in line with your shoulders. As much as you can. And the head, you can hinge from the neck slightly tipped forward. So don't throw your head forward. You're just very gently hinging your head slightly down. Chin is down, not too far down. Putting some length in the back of the neck. Eyes are down, looking along the length of the nose and the tip of the tongue on the roof of the mouth, and relax the jaw. And relax the scalp, the eyes, the nose, the cheeks, and the back of the head and the ears, the temples, the jaw, the back of the tongue. Release the back of the neck, the shoulders, the shoulder blades, chest, belly, limbs, hands, fingers, and feet and toes. And just bring your mind to the breath, noticing the sensation of the air as you're inhaling, slightly cooler than the air you're exhaling. If there are any sounds in your environment, just allow those sounds to be there. So try not to have the mind wander off to investigate. And then bring your attention to your thoughts. And bring to mind what you were thinking and feeling when you first arrived. And try and put some space in between your thoughts. Try not to create a story, engage, judge your thoughts. Just allow them to flow, to arise and abide. And just watch them as an objective observer. You just notice what's going on in the mind without any judgment whatsoever. Just, it's It's good to have a look and see what's there, check it out, let it go. And then let's bring to mind all the people of our life, all our loved ones, our friends, our family, our spouses, children, our besties, our dear ones. And then there's those people in our life who we have a little bit of difficulty with, ranges from a little bit of difficulty to really they're very harmful, so we stay away. And then there's those strangers, those people in our life we don't have terribly much connection with. We see them briefly on the freeway, in the supermarket, and they fleetingly come and go in our lives so briefly. And at any point in time, this friend, this enemy, and this stranger can change places. And maybe it has in your life, maybe it's about to. So then, it's great if we could try to have equal concern for all these people of our life, because all of them, just like us, wish to be happy and don't want to suffer, and just like us, have this incredible capacity for this enlightened mind. So I think we'll do this meditation this evening for the all these people of our life, and by extension, all the sentient beings. So just remembering there is no negativity that cannot be purified, and this purification process is, so we're just basically working on the mind, we're working on a psychology. We create negativity with our mind. So some of these thoughts that we think that are sort of deluded in this way, or just not, they're not true, then we make stories up. Then we take action on the stories we've made up of things that aren't even true. So we confuse ourselves and create a lot of problems for ourselves with all these bits and pieces, this rubbish that goes on in the mind. So it's really good to clean it up. So we are practicing this purification practice with Vajrasattva in the context of the four opponent powers. So first we have the power of regret. This is the first one. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all of your past lives. And think of specific actions of your body and your speech. So the reason we regret is based on this karma. So everything we experience is due to our past actions. Everything, good and happy and bad, all based on our past actions. Seeds ripening. So given that we understand about suffering, we don't want to create any more in our lives. We want to pull out these negative seeds before they ripen as suffering for us in the future. So think like this: I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows, because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering, and also regret any anger and attachment and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others. And think, I'm sick of this suffering. And then think, well, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we turn to the Buddha, the doctor, who has the methods that we can use to purify. So we're not necessarily, we're not at all asking Vajrasattva to forgive us. We just want to use his methods. We're purifying ourselves using his methods, his medicine. We're healing ourselves. So just imagine Vajrasattva above the crown of your head. And you can imagine this is also the mind of your teacher manifesting in this aspect for your benefit. So he's made of radiant, blissful, white light. And if visualization is difficult for you, you can just imagine a ball of white light in the mind of your teacher, a couple of inches above the crown of your head, facing the same way. He's sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion, and this lotus, although born out of mud, is untainted by that mud, just like our enlightened potential, which is born out of our delusion, but untainted by them. He has this beautiful radiant face. His eyes are long and peaceful and full of love and compassion for you. And so, however it is you've turned up this evening, it's totally fine. He's so happy to see you. No judgment, just accepts you exactly as you are. He's going to meet you where you're at. He has a sweet red mouth. His hair is black and held up in a top knot. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell representing wisdom. The right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion. And there being crossed represents the union of these two, which symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings, the very beings we have harmed, and those who have harmed us, by developing compassion for them. This is just a wish for them to be free from suffering. So think particularly of people you've harmed recently and in the past, and then in general, all beings we have ever harmed since beginningless time. And then remember those who have harmed you, and we have compassion for them because they will suffer as a result of the harm that they've done to you. So make a strong aspiration to do this practice of purification for the sake of all these sentient beings, and think I must purify for their sake. So the next is the power of the remedy. And this is the actual medicine, doing the practice of purification. So we're using visualization and mantra recitation. So first we purify the body. So Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, sort of like coming out of a hose from a waterfall, very forcefully from his heart. And this arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you have ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left, as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Supokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawasiti Mempiyatsa Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Supokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawasiti Mempiyatsa Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Supokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawasiti Mempiyatsa Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Supokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawasiti Mempiyatsa Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Supokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawasiti Mempiyatsa Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Supokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawasiti Mempiyatsa Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Supokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawasiti Mempiyatsa Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe. So be delighted that all the harm you have ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified, and think there is no way to do anything other than benefit others now with the body. So the next is the purification of your speech, and Vajrasattva now very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and it arcs around and forcefully enters your crown, filling your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of the body all the negativity of your speech. And this overflows quite forcefully and disappears into space, not one atom left, as we recite the mantra. But imagine that all the gossip and the harsh speech and the useless speech and careless speech and lying and talking badly about others behind their backs and getting other people to agree with you, being divisive, all this is purified by the powerful nectar filling you as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mempiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mempiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mempiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mempiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mempiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mempiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mempiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe. So again, feel so happy that your speech is now completely purified, and imagine it's not possible to do anything other than benefit others now with your speech. And particularly, you know, those times we're talking to our friends and they're maybe in a little bit of distress and we don't know the best thing to say to help them. Sometimes we don't know the most beneficial thing to say. But when our speech is purified, the right words come out. So we want to kind of work towards that. So the next is a purification of the mind. And Vajrasattva is now very compassionately sends powerful beams of laser light from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So when you're walking into a room and you switch on a light and that room's pitch black, that light instantly dispels the darkness. So it's the same here. The moment the light from Vajrasattva's heart touches your heart, all the darkness of the negativity of your mind, all the attachment and neediness and anger and depression, resentment, jealousy and bitterness and grudges and all this kind of bits and pieces we've got going on in our mind are all instantly dispelled as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mempiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramame Matsa Vajrabhava Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramame Matsa Vajrabhava Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabhava Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabhava Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabhava Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabhava Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabhava Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe. So again, be delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of your suffering and the cause of why all of us harm others with our body and our speech, are all our delusions. They're totally purified, they're gone. And think now, there is no space in your heart for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. So the next is the purification of the imprints of negativity of the body, speech and mind. So imagine this time, if you wish, you can recite a couple of mantras each for the visualization of the body and of the speech and of the mind, or you can just imagine light and nectar pouring into you, filling you completely and eradicating even the subtlest imprints of negative energy from your mind as we recite the mantra. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabhava Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabhava Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabhava Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabhava Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramame Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawakama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tathagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Pulupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawakama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tathagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe. Now feel that you are completely purified. Not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to omniscience have been removed. So next we come to the power of resolve. And first of all, just rejoice in your efforts to be turning up here night after night after night for so long. Incredible consistency is really amazing. And so you may have noticed some changes in your own life just from doing this practice. So rejoice in that, and then rejoice in the efforts that you're putting in to make those changes. You know, working on your habits, whether it's sort of chatting too much, gossiping, or, you know, squatting flies, whatever it is. So then give yourself a timeline to maybe extend or work on a little bit more deeply on some of these things that we have going on, some of these habits that come in with us from lifetime after lifetime. And make this aspiration, this wish, to refrain from doing things that are harmful to ourselves and others. And this determination to not do again is what gives us the strength to change. And Vajrasattva is delighted with us, and wanting to merge with your mind, he melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown. And think, my Guru's body, speech and mind, Vajrasattva's body, speech and mind, and my own body, speech and mind are the same thing. And LAMA YESHE used to call this union oneness. And so next, Rinpoche recommends to meditate on the emptiness of the three circles. In emptiness, there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma. And there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level you understand emptiness, place your mind there for a little while. So in this way, we can think of all phenomena as being empty. They do not exist from their own side. You can also think that perhaps the way things are appearing to me may not necessarily be the way they actually exist. So we start to kind of dig into our concrete view of the world. So let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy we've created this evening doing this purification to all living beings, thinking, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. And for His Holiness the Dalai Lama, the wish-granting, wish-fulfilling jewel, source of every single benefit and happiness in this world, to the incomparably kind Tenzin Gyatso I beseech, may all your holy wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. And for Lama Zopa Rinpoche, Ho tub shul chang shin jam gon Galloway, Tenzin kyong pelway kunzo dog porze, chog sum kurway leg mon tu dru, pa dog sog dulje gon du jab ten shog. And for Lama Ursel, Venerable One, to you whose kindness exceeds that of all the conquerors, for those wanderers in far-off places, especially the West, mindfully of your loving concern for us in intentionally descending again into a family of a far distant land, we make this request. O Lama, please, please live long. And for Geshe Sherab, beloved teacher, leading your students toward wisdom and compassion, explaining through exacting discernment the steps of the graduated path, you are the unequaled guide. Please live a long and stable life. Gone like a dream this week. Okay, lots of love, everybody. Have a wonderful weekend. Stay safe. particularly if you're climbing, Drew.